All right, y'all. All right. San Francisco 49ers take on the Minnesota Vikings in this preseason action tonight. We're going to preview that game as well as kind of recap a little bit of the joint practices. How did those go? We're going to get into all that and more, players to watch, etc. Let's get it locked on for It's San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And as you can see, a little, sped up, right? A little sped up in your mind. So essentially what just happened to me was what happens to cornerbacks or quarterbacks when there's kind of a lot going on and it speeds up their mind and they start thinking faster, right? Like the game's not slowed down, and then you see like a forced throw, or with defensive back, like your technique goes out the window. And that's what just happened to me. I just got off the phone with a meeting that was supposed to happen at 11, and then didn't happen, and then it was supposed to be 10 minutes, and it ended up being 40 minutes. I'm like, man, I got to do my show, and I'm thinking about the draft because that's what and I'm like, I got to go live with my people on San Francisco 49ers Morning Show, but so my clock got sped up a little bit, but I'm here. And even then, right before I even hit go live, my wife walks in like, hey, can I use this money right here for our daughter's lunch? And this will pay her up until the Christmas time. And it's like, dude, can I just go live with my people and talk 49ers? All right. Haven't been live in a couple days. A lot of y'all know, man, because I've been posting to Twitter and stuff, but my gym, put together the rigs. Gym is up. I still got to unbox a bunch of weights. I'm tired, y'all, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. Trained a few athletes this morning, had a couple of sessions, and exciting times for the gym, and excited to get back and talk to y'all, man. We didn't get to preview this. We didn't get to talk about the joint practices. I'm like, man, I got to go live this morning. My wife, she was like, it's the weekend. It's the weekend. Aren't you supposed to be like chilling, relaxing? I'll chill and relax after I talk to my people. Shout out to my guy Andrew Mackis. Where yeah. I saw you in here. Hopefully he's still in here. Shout out to Andrew Mackins. That right there, that's my guy from Underdog Fantasy. Right there you go. Underdog Fantasy. Y'all know what to do, man. Y'all hear me talk about it all the time. Underdog Fantasy. Download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com and they'll match whatever you deposit up to $100. I love to play the over-unders, and maybe we'll get into some player props on here on this show in a little bit because, why not? Why not wager on some 49er preseason football and talk about, hey, what this player is going to do? Quarterback, who's going to be Nate Sudfeld. He's going to throw for a touchdown. I think so. So we're going to do some wagering, some over-unders with Underdog. Again, Underdog Fantasy. Make sure that you use the promo code Crocky. When you use promo code Crocky, that's when they let you, they'll match whatever you deposit up to $100. It's fun. We're going to be playing that every week. And I hope, again, I've been so busy. I was supposed to get this over to my guy, Andrew Mackins, but I'm supposed to get this over to him, this bid to where we do this thing on the road, week 1, Chicago. I'm going to get it today. Andrew. If I know I'm slacking, my bad. A lot going on. But that needs to be a priority. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. They've been really good to me. And, man, I had an amazing time. I talked about it a little bit on here, but, they took us out to Brooklyn. It was so great to just kind of be in an environment of other content creators, how they do things, listen in. And I've touched on it a bit, but the goal for me was I train athletes. I love training athletes, and I wanted my own gym one day. It never was to be a content creator. And this was just something where it was just like, okay, I love talking 49er football. Let me talk to people. And it kind of grew into something where it was like, all right, well, I see this path of I built up this audience on social media, really just talking about, different things pertaining to the game and kind of bringing my own thoughts to what I see and using my experiences. And then once I signed for this big ass gym, I'm like, man, I got to pay the difference between what I'm making now and this gym. Let me start going harder on my podcast stuff. But for a lot of the content creators that I ran into, it was like that's what they do. Like they are content creators. And I got to change the way that I'm thinking about this, because originally it was, oh, let me do this to be able to fund my gym, right? Like, let me do this to be able to pay for my gym. And, you know, if I don't even have a kid in there, can I still pay for my gym? Let me push this content for that. And it's like, nah, dude, like you are a legit content creator. You are legitimately a part of the 49ers community. I love it. And I got to create more of a business outline surrounding this. So shout out to all y'all that's in here right now. I see the flames coming in. Here we go. Manly Shavers, 5 flames. He must be feeling good. We got questions on how much will Lance play. We're going to get into all that. Spoiler alert, he's not playing. But we are going to get into some of the guys who are playing and who you should be watching. Here we go. Got the flames coming in. Let's go. Let's go. Imsley? Love the name. Lake City Fresh, I see ya. Let's go. Let's go. All right, man, let's talk about it. We got over 130 people in here already. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you like the intro. All right, but I got some topics here, and we're going to start with the joint practices. And you hear different things, and it's weird. Everybody sees things different ways. And I talked a little bit, I touched on this on Locked On 49ers, but, you know, people, it's odd. I don't even think it's odd. How can I explain this? This is the time to talk about it. And I'll get y'all on today too. But this is the time to talk about it. There needs to be somebody that really educates people on the defensive back position, on the cornerback position, because there is a huge disconnect. This actually wasn't even written, but this is off the cusp. I tweeted this out, and I had some NFL guys be like, man, let's do it. Let's do it. But there's a huge disconnect in how fans and some people that cover the game, how they see the cornerback position and what the reality of it is. There's the disconnect is between how I see it and how like fans see it. And I want to create, I'm going to create like a space on Twitter to where there's a few of us on there, guys that play the position, and we just get to educate on what's going on. And you know what? It might not even matter. It might not even matter. But this one-on-one discourse is so bad. What's one-on-one discourse? It might not even matter. All right. But when I see certain plays, and it's like I see it a certain way, and it's very clear that most fans see it totally different. Totally different. So let's throw a couple plays here. One play was, and you know what? I can actually share my screen. I can share my screen. Let me bookmark this because I definitely want to come back to this tweet. But I'm going to share my screen here. Let me go to it. Tweets. And it was Diamador Lenore. And it's so crazy because I watched the play and I'm like, wow, that was textbook. This is exactly how I would coach up this play to a T. Everything that he did is exactly how I would coach it up. And everything I see from people is, oh, that's a hold. Oh, that's a hold. That's holding. That's holding. And I'm like, what the fuck y'all talking about? Holding? What are you talking about? Like, that's not holding. Like, that's exactly how I would teach it. And let's talk through it a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to go over this play with Trevon Diggs because that was going on all over everywhere. All right. But here we go. Share screen. Boom. All right. So let's talk about it here real quick, y'all. So, and this is when I noticed, oh, Emmanuel Mosley, he's there at practice. All right. So let's talk about, we're going to teach some technique here. Shout out to, I believe this was Matty Barrows. Shout out to Matty Barrows. His actual name is Matty. It's like Matty. It's not Matthew. All right. Shout out to Matty Barrows. So right here you have, and I don't know if y'all can see my cursor, but we got Diamador Lenore in press against Justin Jefferson. All right. So nice, good base. All right. Now this is how I will coach up my guys. Good base, good feet. All right. Nice bend at the hips. Some people try to get low by bending at the waist down here. Bend at the knees. This is nice bend at the knees. This is a good stance here. All right. Let's see what his first step is. All right. A little underneath himself. You can see he's a little bit on the side of his heels. Opens up just a little bit. So essentially right here, ideally, I would like him to make Justin Jefferson work a little more laterally. All right, a little bit more laterally. Ideally. All right, instead of just kind of opening and then now he has to go. So you don't want to get in a sense of panic, but I don't think he ever did. I don't think he ever got in a sense of panic. All right, so this is good. Now he's right here, he's in trail. So what I do, especially lower hip, what I teach my guys is put your hand on the receiver's back. All right, when we are in the trail technique, put your hand on his back, keep your eyes down. Eyes are a little high, and this is dangerous. You don't want your eyes high against a guy like Justin Jefferson because he's really like herky jerky with, like he's gonna give you a lot at the top of his route. So you don't want your eyes to be too high. I think his eyes are a little high. I want to see his eyes looking here, and obviously I can't see his actual eyes, but I can see his helmet. All right, but this is good. This is good. Now fans think this is holding. I promise you, this is not holding. This is not holding. He's touching them. Good. And again, illegal contact. Shut up. That's not illegal contact, not holding. Illegal contact is the way that they kind of wanted illegal contact is if I'm beat, right? Like if somebody is about to like, oh man, he's blowing by me and I hit or touch him to kind of slow him down to knock him off of his path, then that can be kind of like illegal contact. All right, that can kind of be illegal contact. Like if you got a guy running and he's like, oh no, he might go by me. Let me jam him, but I'm past 5 yards. That's illegal contact. Touching somebody, like just touch, that's not illegal contact. All right, so this is good. Now here again, a little high, right? Because you see him sinking his hips, so ideally a little high. But again, hand on the back. He's not grabbing him. He's not pulling him. He's touching him. This is fine. Just don't pull the jersey away from his body. All right. Good. Let go. Good. See, now, if he would have pulled right here, if he would have pulled the jersey away from the body as he's turning, then, okay, there's definitely probably going to be a flag. When you see that jersey pull, when the guy turns a certain way, you see that. But he didn't. Let go and did a great job here of, okay, you're high pointing the ball. Look at that. Right here. Got that fist balled and everything. Punch that ball out. Let's go. That's a terrific rep. This is a terrific rep. Good. Hand off his back. Play through good. Now, again, if he gets to this part and he's still pulling on the jersey, they will likely call holding. They will likely call holding. All right. But, nope. That's good there. That's good. Play through the hands. Bam. Good. And it's funny because, and shout out to this guy. He did a terrific job. I got to find his Twitter. He did a terrific job of showing us everything that's going on at the practice, talking about it. But he tweeted out about this play. And he was like, Justin Jefferson dropped the ball, and Diamador Lenore did the infamous incomplete. He's like, even though he didn't have anything to do with it. And it's like, wait, what? What? This is clearly all Diamador Lenore. Good. And watch the hands get in there. Punch the ball out. That is a great rep by Diamador Lenore against one of the best receivers in the league. So that's one play I want to talk about. All right. Now there is one more play I want to get into. And it's Trevon Diggs. And I could probably, you know what, I can Google his name. Let's do it. My bad, y'all. I didn't come on here to actually give technique lessons. But this video has been going around a lot. And there are a lot of people that are trying to say, oh, well, this and that. Oh, look at Trevon Diggs, all pro. And it's like, what? Oh, like, y'all making fun of him for this? So let me just tell you, first, this is difficult. Anytime you have a quarterback on the move and the receiver running across the back line, it's a little difficult because at the snap of a finger, he can go one way. So there's a lot of people, right? Because you have Trevon Diggs. His eyes are on the receiver. This is good. This is good eyes. His eyes are on the receiver. This is good eyes. All right. Because the moment he looks back at the quarterback, the receiver is just going to either stop or go the other way, and the cornerback is going to keep going. You don't want that to happen. So right here, you got good eyes. All right. So here, now there are some people that want him to be moving with a different sense of urgency. No, I like the patience, under control. When the receiver stopped, he sees him. Okay, let me stop. All right, now the ball is thrown. He whipped his hoe in there. So now Right here, he's reading them down. This is good. This is good. He's reading them down. Now, play his eyes, play his hands. Because look, I can't look back. The ball is on his way. I cannot look back. Let me play his hands. Well, y'all notice something? He never shows his hands. This is goddamn Keenan Allen. He's hella good. He doesn't show his hands. I need him to show his hands so I can play through the hands. Keenan never shows his hands until the ball is there. That's not on accident. That's not on accident. So now he's late. And people are like, oh my gosh. Again, when you have a receiver that's running on the back pylon, this is good. Late hands by Keenan Allen. Then he patted him on the head. That's really so disrespectful. But when we talk about, and I say there's a disconnect between some of the fans and kind of what's going on here. Again, get his eyes back. He never even looked. The moment he looks, Keenan Allen's going to go the other way. I promise you. And you don't want that. He gave himself an opportunity, but that was a great job by Keenan Allen. Late hand. Look at the ball's almost there. He never shows his hands. If Keenan puts his hands up here, then Diggs will put his hands up and likely get his hand in there to knock the ball away. But Keenan Allen never showed his hands. Never showed his hands. So that's a little, again, I'll stop the screen share now. All right. I'll stop the screen share. It's easy to say, oh, get your hands up. You don't run like this. You're not going to run and guard Keenan Allen like this the whole time. You want to play his hands, but he just never showed his hands. That's a great job by Keenan Allen. That's a great veteran move by Keenan Allen. All right. So, okay. Enough of the technical stuff, but that was just one thing where I'm like, man, there is definitely a disconnect between the way that fans see these certain things and how I see it and how some of the other football players, because they understand that's a tough situation for Diggs. And it's like, oh, he sucks. Now, there are other times where Diggs just got ran off in practice. That's on him. All right, that's on him. I ain't got nothing for you. But this clip specifically that's going around, and even then, even the tag that I'm looking at right now, all-pro corner Trayvon Diggs. It's like all caps, like, come on, man. Yeah, he was all-pro last year. He had 11 fucking interceptions. All right. So, all right. That's good stuff there. Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Let's talk about some San Francisco 49er football. We got almost 200 of y'all in here. And we got the joint practices. We're going to recap those just a little bit. Some of the things that I was, hearing, seeing. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing. But let's start with Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, and someone asked earlier, is Trey playing in, or how much will he play in this preseason game? He's not playing. He got all his work during practice. And I'm not a big stat person in practice. I know that's what goes around. Everybody wants to, talk about his completion percentage and stuff like that. But to me, it's never about his completion percentage. It's more so about what does it look like? Where is he at in his progression? How is he viewing things? So we'll throw out his completion percentage because this was what it was reported by, I believe it was Matt Mayoko. Trey Lance completed 23 out of 35 of his passes, which is solid. All right, 23 out of 35. But to me, all right, 23 out of 35, like that's cool. And there's some things that he did well, but what's the context behind that? So on paper, 23 out of 35, that's solid. And I think that he can do that, right? And he's going to have some big plays and he's going to have some misses. Let's talk about the misses, and that lets me know a little bit more of where he's at in his development. And I see my guy Joseph, he says, exactly, don't know why people trip over stats in practice. Stats in practice, I had never heard of that. I think this is something a little bit newer. The first time I ever heard about stats in practice was when Colin Kaepernick and Blaine Gabbert were in training camp, and they were keeping track of their attempts and completions. That was the first time I had ever heard of that in my entire life at any level, whether it was me in high school, me in college, whether it was me in the NFL, the Arena League. Never in my life had I heard that someone's keeping track of stats in practice. Practice typically is for you to learn, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, correct those things, do well, stack good days, but not really keep track. Again, that's just Just my experiences. All right. So now people are going to look at that. They're going to take those things as opposed to what somebody's working on. And if you have a higher percentage of completions, you did good. Even if 9 out of 11 of them are checkdowns, right? You go 9 for 11, but it looks good on paper. Oh, man, highly efficient. Well, it's like, well, everything was short. Okay, push. And then if he misses some, it's like, and he threw 4 straight balls downfield, which is a lower percentage throw, and they come in complete. Now his completion percentage doesn't look as great. Oh, he had a bad day. Like, nah, man, what was he working on? What did he miss? So let's talk about Trey Lance, kind of where he is. Here we go. Good breakdown. Cool guy. Too bad Trey Lance sucks. I appreciate. Oh, the Ghost of Judah. Shout out to my guy, the Ghost of Judah. I love that you're in here. I did watch the Bears. And it was the Bears against, who did the Bears just play? Who did the Bears just play in the preseason game? I just watched it, Thursday evening. Anyways, your offensive line still sucks. I hope that wasn't the starters. Justin Fields running for his life. He has no chance. You know the 49ers got Nick Bosa. So you got the little bear symbol. I don't know if the bear symbol, Seahawks, there we go. Is that bear symbol for Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa going to kick y'all ass. Do you know what Nick Bosa is going to do to your offensive line? Do you know what Nick Bosa is going to do? If Nick Bosa starts off the season, as a matter of fact, listen, y'all, put Nick Bosa right now down for Defensive Player of the Year because he's going to win it based off of the game against Chicago. The Chicago Bears offensive line is going to be in a lot of trouble against Nick Bosa and the rest of the 49ers defensive line. Remember that game last year when Justin Fields got sacked 9 times against Cleveland? Yeah. Week 1. All right. Let me get off the Bears, though. Croc, Ghost is scared to come on your show. No, he's not. He came on already, Gammon. He came on. So he's definitely not scared. He's definitely not scared. All right. So anyways, where was I? Trey Lance. Okay. In the camp against the Vikings, completed 23 out of 25 of his passes. I saw a good report, and there's mixed reviews because, again, everybody sees everything kind of different. But and maybe I just noticed what I wanted to notice or whatever, but I just saw one report that said this was his recap from day one. Justin Fields, definitely not Justin Fields. Justin Jefferson, dominance. Zadarius Smith, big day. Trey Lance is a stud. This is a Vikings guy. Trey Lance is a stud. So more so than completing 23 out of 35 passes over the 2 days, for me, it's just what does the eye test say? And there might be some people that say, oh, erratic. Okay, well, what are you looking for from Trey Lance? Because I'll tell you what I'm looking for or what I know of him so far. There's going to be some inaccurate passes, and there's going to be some explosive plays, and there's going to be some exciting plays on the move. And overall, I think for the most part in games, especially when you start to factor in some screens and things like that, Deebo Samuel he's going to be pretty damn efficient, right? So if I had to guess right now, I'd say he's going to be like a 65% completion percentage guy. That's not going to tell the whole story of his accuracy, but where is he lacking, right? And this is what you can't take away from just a Trey Lance stud or somebody saying, oh, he's erratic. What exactly are they meaning? I think when you hear Trey Lance as a stud, he is someone that, and let me delete this real quick. When you hear, didn't mean to put down the screen. When you hear Trey Lance as a stud, they just see this is a guy that's going to do some really good things. Some explosive stuff, might miss, whatever, but he's got it. And he's going to figure it out. It's going to be good. And that's how I see it as well. I think Trey Lance is a stud. You hear he's erratic. Well, yeah, I think there's some things that he definitely needs to improve on. There's an interception that he threw in practice. His only one. Threw one pick in the practice, but it was Deebo Samuel screaming across the middle of the field. He throws it. It's behind Deebo, and it kind of like gets tipped, and then he tips, and then it ends up getting intercepted, right? And those are the things right now that I think I see where his biggest issue is. A lot of things that Kyle Shanahan dials up is these concepts that heavily rely on anticipation, the accuracy, understanding that this guy's going to be in that window and I'm going to throw it before he even gets there because I know he's going to pop out there and he's going to catch it. And there's going to be times where he hits. But I just think in the sense of where he's at kind of with his accuracy right now, probably with his footwork, things like that, it might lead to some passes that are behind guys or a little high. And I think if there's one area where I feel like, you know what, he needs to improve on these things, it's that. And I think essentially when he gets that down, this is when you'll probably see him take his game to the next level. But not quite there yet. So can he still be really good? Can he still be efficient? Can he still be a playmaker? Of course. But until he does that, we won't see him go to that next level, which I was not expecting to see this year. But I think that's the area where you're like, okay, I want to see how is he progressing this throughout this season? Or is it something that he has to work on next season to get the feet right and continue to get more comfortable in that pocket and make those throws? I think it's something. I believe it's going to be some work that happens come off season. So that pass that he missed that ended up getting picked off, I'd assume that might be something that he misses this season. Now, where he can overcome it is he is a playmaker. So things like that will happen, but then he's going to make some plays. He's going to make some plays. Also, and we didn't talk about this, but he had a deep ball down the field to Danny Gray. All right, y'all probably saw the video floating around. If not, I'll share the screen. But he threw a bomb to Danny Gray. And Danny Gray had to slow up for it a little bit. And there are a lot of people that are like, he underthrew the ball. You got to throw it 5 yards out there. It's like, listen, guys, listen. It's not so much about making the perfect throw downfield. I want the completion, right? I want the completion. When, and this is not putting down Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm just using this play as an example. There were other times where Jimmy Garoppolo did hit guys in stride and stuff like that. But when Jimmy Garoppolo threw that ball to Kyle Juszczyk, and he's hit him on this before. Jimmy has hit him on this before. But I'm just using this one play as just an example of what I'm trying to say. Juszczyk wide open against the Tennessee Titans. Wide open down the right side. And he threw the ball to where, I don't know, he kind of misjudged it, tried to turn around, whatever the hell he was trying to do. But essentially what happened was he tried to throw the perfect pass. He tried to throw the perfect ball. When a guy is really open, don't worry about throwing the perfect ball. You don't got to hit him in stride. If he has to slow down, he has to adjust, that's fine. Get the completion. So Trey Lance throws his ball. It's a bomb. It's a completion. He catches it. Would he have scored in the game? Maybe he gets tackled. If he gets tackled inside the 10. It's a 50-yard play. It's a 50-yard play. You got a guy open like that. I need the reception first. And if you can catch something and still run in and whatever, great. But don't try to make the perfect pass and, you got to hit him in stride. Got to hit him in stride. Well, yeah, you're risking an overthrow, which we've seen Trey Lance do as well. How do these people keep coming back? All right. So throw the ball, get a completion. You get a big play down the field to Danny Gray. Awesome. If it's a little bit underthrown because, I just want to make sure I get him the ball, great. When he threw that pass to Deebo Samuel in the Seahawks game, there was like a blown coverage. And he sees it and he throws it. Deebo stopped, caught the ball, then took off and ran, right? Don't try to make the perfect pass and then goddamn overthrow him or something that ends up going out of bounds or whatever the case is. Just get it to him. And he did that. It ended up being like a 70-yard touchdown. We got to stop overthinking certain aspects to this quarterback position. Gotta stop doing that. All right, but anyways, Trey Lance won't be playing against the Minnesota Vikings in the preseason game. Got a lot of work. I'm pretty sure he understands. And they got the right guy. We got the right mentality. Continue to chip away and get after it. I think he's doing that. He is doing that. Romo wanted Dez to focus on the completion. You know the good thing about having Dez Bryant? You definitely didn't have to throw a perfect ball. Like, yeah, he dropped one here and there. All right. But Dez, and he's a great receiver for a quarterback because when you throw the ball up in the area of Dez Bryant, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. I just got to throw the ball in the area. And Dez Bryant was a 50-50 monster. 50-50 monster. Just throw the ball in the area, Des. He's going to make you right. Those are the best type of receivers to throw to. I think 49ers have a lot of receivers. See, Danny Gray is so fast. Danny Gray is so fast that he can make it to where, hey, like, just throw it. I'll run under it or I'll stop, whatever. I'm going to beat guys. You're going to have a big window to throw the ball downfield to me too. All right. But some of these other guys, I think it's a little bit harder. I think it's a little bit harder to throw the ball downfield to Deebo Samuel. You kind of got to be a little more perfect. He hasn't shown to really be that high point type guy. So maybe he is. Haven't quite seen it yet. Deebo wins a certain way, and he's special in that way. But it's definitely not like a Dez Bryant. Definitely not Dez Bryant. Let's get these likes up. Let's go, Stragosaurus. What's up? How you doing, girl? Yeah. All right, let's talk about some other things here with the San Francisco 49ers and kind of what I'm looking forward to heading into the preseason game against the Minnesota Vikings. And let's start with the offensive line. The offensive line for the 49ers, from all reports, and Stragosaurus, she could tell us, you know what I'm saying, Steph, she could tell us what she saw there. Matter of fact, if you want to come on, I'll shoot you a DM. You want to come on, I'll shoot you a DM and get you on the show. So you could talk about what you saw like firsthand. All right. But it sounded like the offensive line was struggling. And here's the thing. I'd expect some struggles from the offensive line. Now, obviously, there was no Mike McGlinchey. And now all of a sudden it's like, man, you kind of need Mike McGlinchey. Where everybody's been like, get Mike McGlinchey out of here. It's like, no, you need him. All right. But, and here we go, BSC. It's not the interior, it's the right side. And I think that's Mike McGlinchey, right? Like, he's not there right now. They got like McKivitz, they got School, they're trying these other guys, but yeah, little struggles there. With the offensive line, there's this cohesiveness that has to be built, especially for this offense that the 49ers run. Right? And it's not just the 49ers. It's any team that runs zone offense, right? Because it's not just like power, 50 blocks. You just move ahead, boom, hat on the hat, move this guy out the way. A lot of it is, hey, we got to move at the same, in unison and kind of create this flow. And okay, I chip this guy, then I reach to the next guy, and you kind of learn how to play off of each other. And right now, the 49ers have 3 new guys in the interior and whoever's in for McGlinchey when they're in there, McKivitz or whoever the hell. But you have these guys that have to learn how to play with each other. So I think essentially, like right now, you just say, oh man, it's just bad. Like the offensive line's just bad. And maybe it is. Maybe they suck. But I've watched these guys in their individual battles, and it looks good. You look at Burford. I think for a rookie, when he plays against guys, and this is a guy who I will definitely be watching tonight, one-on-one looks awesome. I think he's done a great job. Aaron Banks, excuse me, he looks solid. I think Burford looks better, but it's solid, right? Like you continue to kind of see these guys like one-on-one. It's not bad for the most part. It's for, I guess, I say not bad, like for what their expectations are. So it's like I'm still trying to figure out, are they starters? They're probably still trying to figure out, am I a starter? Right? But you look at them inside or just in general, offensive line, kind of got their ass kicked against the Minnesota Vikings. And now it's going to be, can you continue to grow and build that cohesiveness? And I think playing in these type of games, even in preseason and getting a lot of reps with all those guys in the interior, like they need that. So they understand how to play with each other. Play with each other. Move as one. How long does that take? Somebody that's more of an offensive line guru can tell me more about that. But how long does it take for them to build that cohesiveness? Because I don't think it's just guys are going to get beat like a drum all year long. Because when I watch them, I feel like they got the right stuff. Now it's just growing together. And I think that takes longer than just training camp or preseason. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking for in this game. And I challenge y'all to look at the one-on-one battles, right? You got to pass, a straight drop back. Watch Burford. Watch how he moves. You know, how is he picking up stunts? Watch those things. I think he did a terrific job against the Packers. Again, likely backups, right? He had to go up against Kenny Clark. But Does he look like a starter against backups? I thought he did against the Packers. Can't do that again. I thought he moved well. I thought he finished blocks well. Now, doing it against big dogs is Akeem Hicks, and I know I got the ghost of Judah in here. I know you probably, fighting off. Y'all remember Jon Snow in the middle of the field, and you got everybody running at him, and he's like, damn, everybody's coming. That's probably you right now with the 49er fans in the chat. But if you can answer this for me real quick. And he said, let's brag about Trey Lance. Is Akeem Hicks still on the Chicago Bears? Ghost of Judah? That's what I need to know. Because he guys like him, like they pose a problem for interior offensive linemen. All right. And yeah, here's the link to call in. So anybody that wants to call in, here we go. But I want to see that cohesiveness kind of continue to build for the 49ers and their offensive line. All right, so that was the one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about. Akeem Hicks is in Tampa. All right, well, it's good for the 49ers. Not saying that Bears don't got no D-line. They do got Quinn. He's a monster. They got Quinn. He's a monster. All right. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was just a few guys that I definitely would continue to watch, and I just want to see how they do. Drake Jackson, is he playing? Had the stinger. I'd assume that you play. Stingers usually kind of come and go. Unless he has like some nerve issues, then that could be like this whole other thing, but we're not going to wish that on him. I'd assume he's fine though. All right, so Drake Jackson, definitely want to get to Drake Jackson and just see what does it look like, pass rush. There was one play where I was watching in practice, a clip that was floating around, and I think Nick Bosa kicked somebody that. Nick Bosa is going to kick ass in general. But I watched Drake Jackson, and Nick Bosa, everybody knows him. I watched Drake Jackson, and it was like he had no plan, no pass rush plan, no nothing. It was just like, and then he just kind of stopped. All right, so I would like to see Drake Jackson. What does it look like? Does he start to develop more of a plan as a pass rusher? Got that from my guy Io. Io talks about plan and then seeing through your plan as opposed to bailing on it too early. There are some guys that bail on their plan, their pre-snap plan too early. All right, and then I definitely want to watch Samuel Womack. I'm assuming he's going to be the starter. So what does it look like? What are they asking him to do? That's something I'll be really keyed into. And just the cornerback rotation. Who are the first guys up? Who's starting? Because they just brought in the guy Crawley, and he was running with the ones. So what did I say about Damador Lenore or Ambry Thomas or anybody else? Definitely a guy like Castro Fields. What's going on with him? So I definitely want to see the quarterback rotation. But before we get into all that, here we go. I'm about to bring on my girl, Steph. Hold on. Let me find the right. Okay, here we go. Bomb and bomb. Let's go. Oh, you're not Greg Pinelli. Here we go. Bomb. There we go. Oh yeah. How you doing?
Yo, I'm good, man. It's
How come I could barely hear you? I think.
okay. Let me. That's been happening
Just
to
turn
me.
your
I
mic
don't
up
know
a
why.
little bit.
Like,
I think you could turn it up in your settings
All
on StreamYard too.
okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
In the chat, we'll let you know too if they can't hear you. So.
Cool. Yeah. So like going back to the offensive line talk that you were saying right now, I'm glad you brought up the cohesion aspect, because to me, like that's a big part of offensive line play, and if they look successful, it's because they've been able to get that cohesion together. And so we even saw it last year, right? Like it probably didn't take till almost halfway through the season for the offensive line to really start gelling and looking good. And so I think with this year with two new starters, one of those guys being very young with Spencer Burford, I think we are going to see a lot of ups and downs for that offensive line, and it may take some games even into the regular season where we see them kind of struggle. The one good thing that I'll take from all of it is that I think we have a quarterback in Trey Lance that does a good job of moving around in the pocket, and to an extent I feel like he'll be able to mask some of those offensive line deficiencies a little bit as they get their feet under them right now. But yeah, I'll also be paying attention to Spencer Burford. I know that Kyle Shanahan said that a lot of the starters won't be playing in this game, but I would expect Burford to definitely be getting those extra snaps because, I think he would benefit from it. He struggled a little bit in these last two practices in Minnesota, so I think seeing him, in an actual game will help him a little bit. And hopefully he looks like he did in that Packers game, like you said. Um, and we don't know if the Viking starters are going to be playing quite yet. I think that's still somewhat up in the air. So I kind of hope that we see Burford with some of the starters on the defensive line of the Vikings, and we'll see how he does.
So Steph, and shout out to Steph, for people that don't know, you can 49 K podcast, you got your own thing, so that's why she got the mic set up. She ain't new to
Yeah,
this, she true to this. All right. And I had the pleasure one time and loved it of being able to go on y'all platform as well. You talked a little bit about Trey Lance and kind of how he can offset a little bit of some of the miscues from the offensive line. And I think some people just think, oh, if you're athletic, like you could just make anything happen. It's like, no, but there are going to be times where he can't get out of a pinch. So what did you see from Trey Lance in the sense of kind of trying to fend off the pass rush of the Minnesota Vikings? And I heard, they were coming. And I know there were times where he made some off-script plays and throws. So can you talk a little bit about that? And really kind of what Trey Lance had to go up against with the defense in general?
Well, altogether, his yesterday, was it yesterday or sorry, Thursday? His stat line was 13 of 19 on the day, which is not bad. And I was actually surprised that, it wasn't as bad from the stat perspective, because in real time, like looking at it, it just looked like the offensive line was, collapsing on almost every play, every time he dropped back. But I would just say that, I did see a lot of him hanging tight in the pocket, keeping his eyes upfield. There was a lot of times where he would get the ball out quickly, and he's done a really good job of taking what the defense gives him. And I feel like that's, for a young quarterback, that's really all you can ask for right now. Because a lot of young quarterbacks, you have to coach that out of them, right? Like the panic in the pocket, and sometimes they just want to tuck and run at the first sight of like a guy coming at them. But Trey Lance does not do that at all. Like his first instinct, you can tell, is to throw. If he doesn't find anyone, that is when he, tucks it and goes for a scramble. And we saw it even in the first preseason game against the Packers, right? Where he stepped up in the pocket. He looked like he was going to set his feet. Nope, wasn't there. Okay, he's scrambling. So I think he does a really good job of, always looking to pass first. And like I said, he has really good awareness in the pocket and his open lanes where he can move to. So I think that's the one thing that's going to help this offense. He's going to be able to mask some of those, deficiencies on the offensive line as they build up that cohesion. I can't hear you now. Are you muted?
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
So what did you see from San Francisco 49ers defense? Because I hear that the 49ers defense, especially day two, they were really getting after it with the Minnesota Vikings.
They were definitely more aggressive on day two. I almost feel like the first day, they were getting after it as well, but I almost feel like they regretted not going as hard. So day two, they were just like throwing guys, like the running backs, to the ground. And that's why, some of the Vikings offensive players were getting kind of pissed off at that. And I love D'Amico Ryan's response. Like, this is how we coach our guys. Like, this is what we're going to do. So not backing down from that at all. And like Nick Bosa was completely destroying from both sides of the line. He's been, doing the switching back and forth. He seemed to have more success on the right side. Going against, I forgot his name, the right tackle of the Vikings, like Brian something.
Is it
Brian O'Neill.
or?
Brian O'Neill.
Oh, no, okay.
Left tackle is Darisaw. Okay. And he beat him a few times as well. Overall, I felt like Darisaw, he did hold his own a little bit. But Nick Bosa is Nick Bosa. He's going to get through you one way or another. So, he was having a great time. And then Kinlaw as well. He just looks like a beast up the middle and someone who's going to be demanding like double teams, which actually is exciting for me because, if Kinlaw is demanding the double teams, that means someone else is going to be open, Nick Bosa on the edge. So, or vice versa, right? Like if someone wants to double team Nick Bosa, it's going to open up Kinlaw up the middle. So Eric Armstead, things like that. So I think when they're full squad there, like they're absolutely stacked. It's scary. And Fred Warner, I mean, we don't have to talk about Fred Warner all the time because he's just like always good. But I always say, like, when they have really good practices where you feel like you really have to say something, I have to like give him his props for Thursday because yes, he wasn't just good. He was like on his other level, worldly good. Um, so yeah, I have to give him his props. He was all over the line, and altogether, like between the linebackers and the defensive line, the Vikings' running game in that practice was non-existent.
I like uh, when Fred Warner starts to get kind of in his little chippy bag and really
Mm-hmm.
kind of going after guys, really turning up. I think that's the best version of Fred Warner. But Steph, I appreciate you coming on. Go ahead, shout
Appreciate
out
you, man.
everything that you have going on so people know and where they can find you.
Right on. You guys can find me on YouTube, youtube.com. Username is Stragosaurus, Stragosaurus. Or you can hit it up on the search bar, 49 Carats Podcast. You can find all my work there. Make sure you guys subscribe. Got a lot of content coming for you. And
Yeah.
appreciate you having me on, Krog.
Are you going to the Week 1 Chicago game? Do you plan on going?
No, I'll be at the home opener, though.
Okay. See, I won't be there. All right, but I'm pretty sure I'll run into you at one of these games.
We'll link. Yeah. Also, if you plan to come out for the Denver game,
I will be at the Denver game.
All right. We'll see each other then.
All right, bet.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, Steph. All right, shout out to Steph coming on. Here we go. Next up, I'm gonna bring on two guys at one time. No, we'll go one. All right, we'll go in order here. First up, got my guy Gammon. Gammon, good morning. Oh, but I can't hear you. You're muted though.
All right, is that better?
Oh, yes, sir. I got you.
Okay, cool. Hey, so just a couple quick things. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Very, very important. Croc, I think he deserves more subscriptions than he has. The amount of work that he puts in, day out. Talking to some other streamers that they're trying to reach out and get a hold of him. They're like, yeah, man, this dude is just busy, which is like he's really one of the only ones that I really hear about that. Also too, if you guys can, like, I understand, not everybody has money to be able to like donate or subscribe. You don't need to do that in order to help this channel progress. One of the things that you guys can do is make like a playlist. Make a playlist of like 8 of his last videos, and then when you guys go to work, just hit the play button. It'll cycle through 8-9 hours of content. That's really going to help boost this algorithm, right? Because
is that what real quick, Gammon, and I appreciate you for all this. I legit know nothing about the algorithm. Like I know you're supposed to do certain things. It's like your thumbnails gotta be a certain way, and then you gotta title stuff this way, then you gotta like do this and post this. And I'm like, man, I'm on here, for the people that tune in, and we got over 260 people now. Like, for the people that tune in and they appreciate the show, awesome. For the people who don't find it because of the algorithm, that sucks. But man, I don't know anything about that. Real quick, let's get to this super chat real quick.
Okay.
All right. And my guy Ricky Rawls, he says Miami, Bucks, New Orleans, Rams, Cardinals twice, and the AFC West. Is a top 5 defense realistic? And I'll ask you, do you think that a top 5 defense for the 49ers is realistic this season?
I do, but I top 5, absolutely. One of my bold predictions this year was that the 49ers were actually going to rank in the top 2 in interceptions. So the takeaway game is going to be big. Now, why do I think that the top 5 defense is realistic against some of these, world beaters that we're seeing against with the AFC West, which would be really interesting for you one day, Croc, is to maybe Steph would be great too if you came back on. And your content is blowing up, by the way. I'm seeing other streamers using your stuff. But not to get off topic, but try to rank your top 7 NFC teams that are going to make the playoffs. Now go to the AFC and then try to make your top 7. It's hard. So the fact that we're going up, it's really, really difficult. So the fact we're going up against the AFC West. Now, why do I say that? Special teams unit, right? So field position. Last year, we ranked kind of near the bottom as far as field position goes. I think with that added help with the field position and teams having to go more than 80 yards, right, against this defense, and that we're fully healthy, I think that they're going to have a really, really, really kind of a tough time. Also, too, what really helps out a defense? Time of possession,
Yeah.
a run game. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of takeaways because eventually teams are going to have to start throwing the ball against this defense, and they're going to have to make plays over the middle. They're going to have to make plays over the middle, and I think that's where Hufanga is really going to make his living. And then so for you, like I think top 3 is realistic, just because I'm seeing them already in my big prediction is top 2 in interceptions. The amount of interceptions and picks that they've been getting just so far is, and I really see that. And that's the question I would ask you, Croc, for a cornerback. How much confidence does that start to develop for a team when you start getting like 1 pick, 2 picks, and then all of a sudden, do you guys just start going like, all right, it's time to eat, that sort of thing?
Well, I think it becomes the standard and the expectations. And any team I've been on that has totaled a high number of takeaways, it's something that once you start getting them, you kind of pride yourself on knowing that I can do it. I've also been on teams where it's like, damn, I can't take the ball away, and you kind of see it's kind of an epidemic with the entire team. Remember a few years ago, the San Francisco 49ers, there was a year where they had 5 takeaways for an entire season. For an entire season, only 5 takeaways. And really, if you think about it, last season, I believe the 49ers had the pick 6 in the first game by Dre Greenlaw. And then after that, I believe they went on a stretch of like 6 games or so with no takeaways. And then all of a sudden they start piling up takeaways second half of the season. So it's kind of something where you got to kind of get in that mode mentally that like this is what we expect. And I think when that happens, you start getting it, as opposed to when you're thinking about taking the ball away, then it's just like, damn, it's like not happening.
Yeah, and I really think that starts. We're going to see that happen week 1 against the Bears, because one thing I did notice when I was watching their game is that their tight end Kmet seems to have really good rapport with Justin Fields. And
I like Cole Kmet. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And
so we got Ghost of Judah. He comes on here, and the Bears are definitely not what he thinks, but they do have some good players.
Yeah.
And Cole Kmet, he is one of them. Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney, like those are 2 good players on their offense. And I do think that, as far as the running back room goes, they have some nice running backs there.
They do.
But
that's the thing, is they're wide receivers. Where are they? Right? Like there's like that. I'm looking even on some of their own fan pages right now, and one of the headlines, that I'm seeing over there is receivers ... where art thou? Right? And that's going to be a huge problem. There's not going to be any bailouts, and if basically the 49ers pin their ears back and go after, shut down the run, and then I think Hufanga is going to be the eraser for those short passes, the short intermediate passes, right over there. And then the other thing too, though, Croc, is what I'm looking forward to for this game is I'm hoping to see, and this is the weird thing, right? Because you have your press credentials and everything like that. We get so much talk about how Sermon is doing great in practices, but when the lights come on, right? And I think there's a big difference between how good the running game looks during practice, where you can't really bring players to the ground, that sort of thing. The run blocking, I think, is also too drastically different versus when you're pads and you're actually going at it. I think it's harder to assess a run game in practices than versus a real game. We're hearing so much about how well Trey Sermon is doing in practice, but not so much when he actually, like, the lights are on, fans are in the.
You didn't think he ran well last game?
I think that he ran well, and if I'm being honest, I think even last year he ran well. Like we keep bringing up the fact of like he had a darn near kind of like a 100-yard game against the Seahawks, right? But I think for the fans, for your average fan, this is where I'm like, when you to kind of maybe go in depth about that, is because the reporters, everyone is reporting the same thing, and everybody's got credibility. But the fans, then they see him not being decisive, making those hard cuts, right? And so it kind of feels like there's this weird kind of disconnect. But then we forget about kind of what he did last season. And then when we look at Juwan Jennings, right, he doesn't practice well, but when it comes down to the games, the dude actually shows up. So I'm just kind of wondering about that. And then if I had like one final question that's really really off topic, and maybe this could be something that you do for a different video, Croc, but I've always been super fascinated about this. JT O'Sullivan, he had somebody asked him a really good question. They asked him, "Hey, what do quarterbacks do when they get that call? Right there's that after a play, and then the play clock starts. What happens during that period of time when they get that play clock?" And then they get the information, then all of a sudden the mic's cut off and they have that 18 seconds to kind of
Yeah.
at the ball. I've always been curious, right? Because we always think about the offensive huddles. What's going on in those defensive huddles? What happens when you're over there and you're the corner, and then all of a sudden you notice, like, hey, that quarterback calls, he goes kill, 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 and he's killing, getting out of that. They start audibling, motions, and then you notice, like, hey, my receiver's now on a hot route. They just changed his route up. I think that would be super interesting. And then to the Bears fans, look, you guys got some good pieces. I'm not going to deny that, but you guys got no chance. Thank you for your time, Croc.
All right, Gammon. To answer one of his first questions, and it was about the mic and relaying the defense and then kill, kill, kill and all that type of stuff. When you kind of prepare for a game, it's really a chess match, right? We know sometimes what's coming based off a certain look, right? This guy's lined up over here. This based on this down and distance. The coordinators, they kind of stick to a lot of what they like to do as far as play calling, etc. And you kind of know what's coming. And then if they try to counter that, then you should, for the most part, be prepared for it and not be completely blind. Or you'll know, like, okay, I should be getting this, this, or this, right? Like typically that's how your kind of mind works, and there's kind of like a checklist of things. On most plays, you'll get that. There are going to be some times where you just have no idea. A lot of it also depends on who's your coordinator and how well prepared are you. But the whole alignment, that type of stuff kind of gives some things away. Now the tough thing is when you are playing a guy like Kyle Shanahan does a terrific job of showing things. And then it's like, okay, I recognize this, or I recognize this formation, I recognize this alignment, I recognize this split, and he'll show it to you again, and you're like, okay, like I'm not gonna let that happen the next time, and then now you're over aggressive, and then bloop, he does something to counter because he set this up in the first quarter, and he comes back to it in the fourth, which third time he shows you the same look, and it gives you something completely different. And that's why Kyle Shanahan's good. And he's not the only coordinator that does that. But Twin, what's good, man? How you doing?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. What's going on, Croc? Yeah, chilling. Waiting
Nice,
for the
nice. You got
game.
the nice tank top on. Go Giants. They got a little run
Yeah,
going right now. Giants got a nice little run going because it started off. It was a little weird, especially after the All Star break. But right now, a little,
yeah.
they're doing cool.
Yeah, it's a little rough for the Giants right now. We definitely seen better seasons than right now. But I'm not here to talk about the Giants though. But yeah, that's my
Yeah,
squad. You already
yeah.
know. But yeah,
You drive
I had a
trucks?
question for you. Yeah, I'm a driving truck right now. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. I just watched a movie. Damn, what was it called? Some Paradise. What was it? With uh man, what's that old ass? Like what the oldest black man you can think of that acts.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. All right, so it was Morgan Freeman, and that's crazy. I just said the oldest black man that acts, and you knew exactly who I was talking about.
That's my
And
dog, man.
they
Morgan
were like
Freeman.
smuggling. They were like not smuggling. It was like this. They were like taking kids and then selling them, like sex trafficking or whatever. And yes, this whole thing. And then Morgan Freeman was one of the detectives. Anyways, they were doing it with big rigs. But anyways, go ahead. I know you're not doing
Yeah,
that.
I
So
seen that movie. Yeah, I was just watching it before I came back on the road. That's crazy. Yeah, about the
yeah, I just watched that a
trafficking.
couple
Yeah,
days ago.
yeah. I just had a question for you, like about, and it's about the secondary or safeties. You know, with Hufanga, he plays the run good, and he's in the box real good, and he's like good on like crossing routes and stuff. But how do you feel with Jimmy Ward out and him and I don't know if they're gonna start Tavarius more, but how do you
Hmm.
feel about the secondary? I know we confident in our corners and how to kind of take some relief off the safeties, but how do you feel the safeties will, cover, especially like in week 2 when we have like DK and Lockett. that they can stretch the field a little bit better. Do you think we'll be all right with the front four getting pressure and everything?
I say this, and it's crazy because I talked about it on the radio yesterday. I talked about it on a few different other 49er podcasts, but I might give the 49ers coaching staff too much credit, maybe, but they do an amazing job of, for the most part, being able to overcome certain weaknesses on this team, right? So last season, clearly the corners were not a strength of the team with all the injuries that they dealt with, but they were able to figure out a way to get by. And I thought most times the cornerbacks weren't the reason the 49ers lost, even though it was clear that was the weakness of the defense. So right now you're going into week 1, and it's like, man, we might be lacking at safeties. I'd assume that the 49ers coaching staff with D'Amico Ryans would do a good job of putting the safeties in positions to where they're not as vulnerable and understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are. Example, preseason game, Green Bay Packers, they do a zero blitz with Tarvarius Moore in man coverage. He gets ran by. I'd assume they would not put him in that same situation week 1. But you do certain things in practice or in training camp to try to figure that out. And that's why I tell people, like, stats and stuff like that in practice. Like, you don't know what people are trying. I'd assume he's not going to put Moore in that same position. You try it in preseason, probably try it in practice. See, okay, he's not doing this or he's not doing that. Or maybe a little inconsistent. Okay, well, we scrap that for the game so we don't put him in that type of position. So as far as the safeties go, and you have to play without Jimmy Ward, who's extremely versatile, he's extremely important to this team, you figure out different ways to kind of mask the deficiencies of the other safeties that'll be out there.
Okay, yeah. But that was just that's my only concern, that in the O line. But the O line, Buford and Banks are looking real good.
Yep. I'm excited to watch them today, and that's my main thing. I'm gonna go when I get off here, go run to the liquor store, give me a little, stuff to sip while I'm watching these football games for the rest of the day. But I am excited to watch those two guys and see, just what does it look like? Like, do they look overwhelmed? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? First preseason game, I thought Burford looked really good. And I thought he moved well. I thought he took on stunts extremely well. I thought he showed power. I loved the way he was finishing blocks. Loved it. Can he do it again? Or what challenges arise from playing against the Vikings, which I'd assume they're not playing against starters. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, it was good hollering at you, man. I support the show, man. You
I
from
appreciate that.
Stockton, man, and everything. I got family out there too.
Oh,
But I
real
was just gonna
209,
say,
what I'm saying?
yeah, you're a real one. But look, I want when you go to Denver, man, I'm gonna be in Denver, so we should link up, man. 'Cause I
Man,
wanna,
listen,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
near. You just let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'll slide through.
Yeah, I'm go out there. I got some family out there, so I'm gonna be out there for the game. And my partner, we were supposed to go to the game, but he flaked on me, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm definitely gonna be in Denver though, for sure, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm going. I'll be out there with my guy John Chapman. John will have the. He always has the road party stuff, so we're gonna do
yeah,
that. 49ers got their thing, so I'm definitely gonna do that. I think I'm gonna get out there. I think I'll get out there on a Thursday. I think I'm getting out there on a Thursday. So I get there Thursday. I know I'm going to the Giants game on Friday.
oh, they play the Rockies.
Yeah, they play. Yup.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
at the
gonna be
same
lit
time.
out there, man. It's gonna be lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
Oh yeah,
link
it's
up. I'm
turn.
definitely wanna, cause I was trying to ask John, how do I get on that, like, link up with those the things he be doing with the
Oh yeah. Now it'll all be out there, and I'll be talking about it on this
yeah,
show because I'm gonna be a part
for
of it.
sure,
So
for sure.
yeah, we're gonna get after it.
All right, yeah, man. I'll let you get out of here, man. I just want to say, go Niners, man. It looking real promising for this year, and I want to see Trey be successful, man. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in.
All right, take care, man.
All
Later.
right. All right, shout out to my guy Twin in here. Shout out to all the NorCal folks in here. I see the people. I saw somebody say, "Oh man, 209 representing. I'm from Lathrop," and it's like, Lathrop is 209. It is 209, But, you know what I'm saying? It's only one real 209. And we know what that is. Stockton. Shout out to everybody in the chat today, man. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Quick question, man. Who's taking Jimmy's C patch? Oh, his captain patch. I don't know. When will Trey Lance become captain? I wonder if the guys, because I believe, do the players vote on that? Will the players vote on Trey Lance to be captain? I feel like he's taking on that role. And obviously, I mean, you're talking about first-year starter. But I think there are certain guys that have this mindset, and the players tend to follow that. I think they like a lot of what they've seen from Trey Lance. I would not be surprised if Trey Lance is a captain. And like I said, Jimmy ain't giving up. Jimmy's like, hell nah, bro. Y'all not taking my patch. I'm taking my patch with me to Cleveland or wherever the hell he going. It won't be in Santa Clara. Turlock 209, you know what it is. Turlock, listen. Turlock, Series, Lathrop, y'all are 209. Yeah, technically. But there's only one real 209, and that's Stockton. That is Stockton. Real 209. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Download Underdog Fantasy, the app, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code Crocky if you're into over, unders, player props. I'm going to put it together. Follow me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. Right there. Do I put my hand in front of there? Right there. Eric_Crocker on Twitter, and I'll be putting together my over-under parlay player props for the 49ers game. Again, if you use promo code Crocky, CROCKY, promo code Crocky, they'll match whatever you deposit up to $100, man. So go ahead, double your deposit and get after it. Follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Appreciate all y'all. Love all y'all. We're going to be back Monday morning right here. San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.